Okay, let's go over to Twitter, do that stuff. A link would be good, you know, so people can't assume people know my channel that well, because I'm practically, you know, nobody. So da 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 da. Cool. So okay, that's sent. All right. Oh, yeah. I already have someone in chat. Yeah, it's a bonus. It's bonus stream time. Woo! Yeah. Apologize if I'm seem a little tired. My son is he's not really sleeping, so I'm not really sleeping. So it's been an interesting day. I have found some time to get some work done. So let's I guess just roll up our sleeves and get right to it. So today is September 8th, 2016. I'm Joshua, and today I'm working on Delver. It is the game I'm working on right now. It is a procedural first-person dungeon crawler roguelike thing. It is on Steam Early Access, and I am working hard to get this wrapped up. Our next update should actually be coming out this month, which is exciting. It's been actually a year since our last update, so this one is long overdue, and it should have some really cool stuff in it. I'm trying to get this stuff wrapped up and get it out to you. So let's get going. So I'm just going to launch right back into doing some level editing right now. I'm just trying to block out a new room. This is going to be a hall, but I thought it would be cool if this hall had like these kind of abstract or stylized like crypts or tombs. So I'm going to kind of I've used them in other places in the game, or in this particular theme. So I think it should all kind of nicely just tie together. Um, uh, Gagey Poo says, excited for the update, love the game. Thank you for the kind words. I am very excited for the update too. Hopefully, just hopefully that I mean, things are coming together, and it should be. Um, what am I trying to say? It'll contain an entirely new area. It will contain a number of bug fixes and some tweaks. Um, but it's also important that we kind of, I guess, get back into a regular cadence of development because we have taken quite a bit of time off, and just getting back into a good routine is important. I always forget. I kind of make unfortunately, I do make the stairs by trial and error. I can't, there's no real guides I have on how tall to make the stairs. I just kind of unfortunately do it by feel. Um, yeah, so it's going to be kind of this kind of a natural cavey thing with these tombs kind of cut into the sides. I am worried about Viz. There's no real Viz blocker at the moment. I'm trying to put this kind of artificial dip, uh, so maybe that will block Viz, so you can't see all the way across. We'll see actually how that works. Hey, hey Tony, thanks for stopping by. You're not working tonight? What's going on, man? Okay, so more little rooms. So yeah. Just kind of right now I'm just kind of trying to get things roughly blocked out. So I can kind of see how things are laid out and how it feels. Then I'll beautify it here in a little bit. Tony says he's working on work, not on game. Wow, it's I guess some folks work later than others. Hopefully not working too hard, Tony. Okay, pull that in there. So I'm doing this kind of, I'll show you what I'm doing. It should work out okay. Um, I need to, actually, I need to bump this over 1 because of the height. So this will actually help as well. No, I need that to be open, but I need this to be closed. Same here, open, closed, and open. So an interesting behavior of the Delver editor is if you make a selection, um, what happens is I'm selecting here, and then I hit enter to carve it out. But since it's already carved, it will match the floor and ceiling height of the first tile I selected, which can be handy if you're like kind of bulk raising or lowering an area in the game. There we go, looks good. Okay. It's the same thing here. Cut a big swath like that. These little crypty rooms aren't very big. They're kind of a 2x4, which is not bad. Okay, so I have, let me see what it looks like now. So just have it's just going to be a series of, so unfortunately it's not very connected. This bit's quite linear. I guess there's going to be stuff for you to go look at and find back here. So there might be some value in that. And let's see here. Oh, hey, Chad. I am working on hallways. Are you actually working, Chad, or are you just coming to hang out? For those of you who don't know, Chad is the other half of Delver. He is the, yeah, so I do all the content and visual stuff, and he does practically everything else, or literally, however you want to say that. So what I'm doing here is a bit of a trick. So I have these 2 adjacent rooms, but I don't want them to be actually adjacent. I want them to be separate rooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lower the ceiling like this. And if you lower it enough, you get 2 separate rooms. In the map, I think in the map editor it looks a little strange, but there is definitely like a little dividing line there, so you can kind of tell what's going on. Yeah, so now I have these 2 separate rooms because of the height difference, which is nice. Because these little areas aren't terribly big. Okay, so I think I guess I'm gonna start doing a little bit of a detail patch, just trying to get proportions right here. Try to figure out, because I have an idea of what the height on these should be. And I'm just gonna try to get a feel for that. I'm also gonna see if I can block the viz on the main hallway, because I don't want you to be able to see from door to door, which is what I'm worried about. Because if we take a peek here, you can. So if I lower, let's just grab a chunk here. If I lower this down, does it start to get close to actually blocking without feeling like bad? So this is roughly, so if I pull it down to entirely block, that's not awful. There we go. So I guess down here you can see both. That's okay, maybe, because you're not seeing much into the rooms beyond. Maybe that's okay for blocking the viz. Oh yeah, I need to fix that step right here. I think just how this worked out is I have a little bit more. I think I have one tile more in this direction than in the other direction, so that's okay. Um, I will work with it. Oh, I guess there might be a fast way to make stairs. So if I did something like this, and enter, and then I can drag this all the way down, and then I can just hover, and I can hit F, and that will flatten the floor. And I can just do that real quick to all of them. And that should give me decently well spaced out steps. And I don't really have to think too much about it. I can just let the engine do the hard work. Except for that top step is going to be too steep, I think, but let me just test it real quick. Yeah, so I can just grab the whole selection of stairs and just kind of all pull them all up. So that looks right. And bump it like that. Of course. Of course. I thought I was being slick, and it is. I guess it is. It is handy, but it wasn't the magic bullet I thought it was. Down a little bit more. Uh-oh. There we are. There we go. Cool. Tony is claiming that I'm a wizard. Maybe, not quite. I have used this tool for a very long time, so I'm very acquainted with how it works. Okay, so if I put a torch there, because I don't want it to be too dark, I want you to be able to kind of see what's going on. Cool. Actually, I think what I'd rather do is kind of put a torch here, and then one here. So it's not perfectly in the middle. And that way it kind of maybe hopefully will lead you. Yeah. So it lets you actually see the dip in the ceiling, because if it's pure black behind there, you can't really, it's not a good contrast between the ceiling and then what's behind it. So I think this is coming out okay. Um, so for reference, let me fire up another instance of the editor, and I'll show you what I'm working to build towards. So one of our start rooms had these cool little I consider them like little like burial areas, but it's just these little 2x4 rooms. It's about a unit and a half high ceiling here, and then it has a little arch ceiling there. And I like them. I think they're cool. They're kind of a weird little thing I think the generator made, and I'm just running with it. So I'm going to make some of these and just kind of fill them full of bones and probably some enemies eventually. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So, oh, there we are. Let me just block in the textures. Grab that. So I want the ceiling to be that. So if I quickly just do that. Since these are all connected, I'm just going to make a big selection and kind of change them all at once. That's cool. I'm going to do the other side. I'm worried though that I might leave the doors looking natural, because I do want to have a cave feel, except for these little carved out areas. So Yeah, I may leave the rock kind of. Let me see. Because I'm also going to narrow the hallway a little bit too, um, using my favorite little trick to. Actually, at this point, I don't want to paint adjacent. I think I just want to paint just directly these. So I want this hallway to feel natural, and then so like this needs to be all stone here. Okay, and then same here. Geijipu is asking if we have any plans to be updating it on mobile. And it looks like Chad is answering that question, which is nice. Yeah, it's kind of nice having somebody who can answer some of these questions while I work. Because sometimes I get like super focused in on my task at hand, and I kind of forget about uh, actually just talking to folks. Because I am primarily here to work, and but if I can, share stuff with folks, to talk to the community, that's also good too. So what I want to do is similar to the trick with the floor, with the stairs. I'm going to lower this right here, and then I'm just going to quickly kind of go in, and if you use Shift F, oh, no, oh, I hit Shift G. Oh, that sucks. All right, well, let's start this over. Yeah, Shift F and Shift G are awfully close to each other. But I should be able, yeah, I didn't really save it either. That stinks. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's go quick. Oh, Control Z actually does work for the generator, doesn't it? I'm sorry. Ugh, yuck. Oh man. Okay. Sorry. Watch me reinvent the wheel and go crazy. But I'll try to be fast. Let's see if I can just do it in broad strokes. So these need to be like this. And then this needs to be like that. And we need this to go like that. But that's the wrong texture. And like that. And then similarly here, this needs to go over one. This needs to be 4 cross, so I can do that. Kind of just bringing up the floor there. I need to carve that out. Same there. Same there. I need to raise that, raise that, raise that. Again, raising this. Okay, I need to ensure there's enough height difference here to make this a separate room and not just one continuous one. So let's just, so I need to pull this down. I need to kind of roughly figure out where the texture repeats, and then, so it's kind of, there's not a lot to go on, but I think it's roughly, this should be good, right? That'll have to work. So I make sure, I guess I'm trying to make sure it has the right height here. Okay. Yeah, that should be good there. So let's just pull all this down. Okay. Same there. There we go. Okay, let's do some wall textures, low wall, ceiling. Let's just paint all this real quick. we'll get back to where we were pretty quick. Okay. I can still do it. Even I can control Z even after I open. That seems weird. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any sort of sound when you guys chat, so I just have to look over there. I'm sorry if it's super frustrating for you, Chad. Okay, so similar trick. Let's just bring this all the same height. But I don't want to change the texture, so let's make sure we pick that first. Do that. Lower that. Okay, and then just quickly just flatten this all out. Okay. And then I gotta bring all this up. So like that. And pull this one up. So you can actually step up. That should be okay. Run up the stairs. Nope. I think I put it exactly where it was. There we go. I must have made the heights different. Hmm. Chad is commenting that it'll probably be better the second time around. Yeah, sometimes it is true that when you make things enough times that uh, you start to get good at it. Let me pull the ceiling up here because you got it lowered. Nope, not that. I want to grab the ceiling. I think it's just here though. I think I just lowered this part, but that's cool. That's the part I really worry about for blocking viz. So let's get that here. Enter play mode, fall to the floor, exit play mode, pull that down. There we go. Okay. Still have to solve this floor problem. Are all the stairs impassable? Step, 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 step. Okay, so it must be just that one. Hmm. I can just bump this up. I think I just have to go up just a little bit. So let me try raising the whole bottom floor here and see if that fixes my issue. So up one. Yep, that's what it needed. So let's make sure that the ceiling height still feels okay. I don't want pages. I don't want to pick there. Nice. Okay, there we are. Cool. Need to make this side walkable now. So the same trick. You have to be careful when doing this though, because I'm also losing any detail I had in the ceiling. Also gets flattened out with the floor. So just be aware of that. Also, I want this whole ceiling here to be the cave ceiling as well. So let me just fix that. So that looks nice. Okay. Got these rooms. We're gonna fill them full of bones because that's cool, I guess. We test these stairs. I think I tested the stairs. That's probably a good thing to do. Step, 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 step. And of course, that one's not going to work. Okay, so let's grab the selection here and bring it up to like there. And of course, we probably need to add a step here so we can actually get on the stairs. So let's pull that up a little and test it out. Step, 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 step. Ah, so close. Okay, so is it just this one that needs to be tweaked? Let's try that. There we go. Cool. So it looks like Chad and the chat are talking about Java. Um, da, 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 da. What do you think? Somebody's complaining about source quality. Um, uh, I'm not quite sure. Pyrosun, if you're reporting a bug, I'd love to hear about it. You either do it here in chat, or if you guys have bug reports, you can take a screenshot and email it to me at joshua.skelton@gmail.com. And we do log and track bugs, and we try to remember who sent it to us. So when we do get around to fixing it, we try to drop you a note saying, hey, we addressed this issue, and thank you for reporting it. Sniper King is sharing his love for the game. Thank you. It's always nice to feel loved. Okay. I am making more rooms for the new area because the new area needs variety. Because variety is nice, especially because this is procedural roguelike, and it's nice to be able to play this many times without seeing the same thing over and over. Because I like playing this game, and I don't want it to be boring either. So I try to add as much variety as I can with what time I have. That's always the constraint, is just actually how much time can I put towards development, because for the past, I don't know, for the entirety of so far for the length of the project, I had a full-time day job. I no longer have a day job, but now I am a stay-at-home father, so that limits my time in other ways. Sometimes he does take naps, which is a beautiful thing, just because for my sanity, but also I get a chance to do a little work, which I try to be good about doing as often as I can. But also, lately I've been needing to find balance. Like, I don't have a lot of, so if I'm not watching my son, and if I'm not working on the game, and if I'm not spending time with my wife, I really don't have much time for me outside of that. Which is okay right now. I mean, we're kind of in a push to get this done, and then maybe I can have time for me after this project is over. But yeah, I do need to find a little bit of balance there. I just don't want to burn myself out, you know. Okay, I'm just tweaking the height of all these rooms so they're not too crazy tall. I'm just roughly counting the bricks is kind of how I'm just ballparking it, so they're all roughly the same size. It's not super critical that they're all exactly the same. Just kind of a nice thing. Let me check. Let me add some lights too. If I remember right, I had a torch like about here, and then maybe a torch on the other side of this little divider. There we go. Cool. Yep. Again, so the torches help guide the player. That's lowered ceiling helps block viz. Gagey Poo is asking, what kind of games do we play? Unfortunately, lately I've not played very many games. If you look at my Steam history, I suppose, I guess, well, not counting Blender, because that's not really a game. I use Blender to do 3D modeling for this project. The last game I really played was Subnautica, which is pretty cool, but it is not a roguelike or an RPG. just trying to get a nice, kind of just a little bit of a gradient here on the ceiling. Maybe this one would be a little bit steeper on this side, so it doesn't feel so artificial. Typically, also when I'm making these uneven ceilings, I'll work in one dimension, and then I'll come back, and then I'll work in the other, just so I can kind of keep track of what I'm doing. Um, they're saying Subnautica is a fishing simulator. To be honest, that's the first thing I did is I basically turned off food because I didn't find that particularly interesting. So what I really liked about Subnautica was just actually exploring the world. Because at first when I launched up Subnautica, I thought, oh cool, it's a procedural survival game. It turns out it's not procedural. I believe it's all hand built, which is crazy. Um, so I really kind of liked exploring those environments and finding the abandoned bases and the wreckage and kind of just kind of spending some time in that world. It was really nice. Pyrarslan says, "I'll be out of that pit soon." Um, so if you're stuck, there are ways to get out. Um, because unfortunately, right now we are in early access, so there are still some rough edges that um, we are finding and fixing as appropriate. Sometimes rough edges can lead to interesting gameplay. Because if the gameplay experience is perfectly smooth, it's kind of blah and not memorable. But some things, if it's game ending, those are not the kind of rough edges to keep around. Um, Sniper King says, if I get stuck, I just shoot at the ground with a wand to boost myself over, like in that moat pit you could fall into and get stuck. So the, basically, if you fall into a pit or an area, it should kill you outright, or it should have a way for you to get back out. If that is not the case, please let us know. There is one instance in the sewers that a player on Twitter let me know about, and we actually he sent me some screenshots, and I tracked down. It turned out it was a hand built room that I had made, and I had just I guess I had forgotten to put a ladder there, and I felt really bad, but I fixed it, and it will be out in the next update. For those of you who play, I'm curious, like, how does like how do you find like the dying and coming back and keeping all your gold progression? Because right now it's not super deep, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that, and like what do you think would be interesting to do with that? Because right now, basically what happens is at the start of the game you can use your gold to buy equipment to give you a head start, and then you play the game, you collect gold, and either you beat the game or you die. And when you come back, the gold you have it's like a cumulative gold running thing. Um, so try to think of what interesting things to do with that gold that doesn't break the game per se. I mean, I thought it might be nice to like be able to buy uniques that you can't get anywhere else. But that's really the only idea I have to kind of make that system better. Yeah, no, Chad is lamenting that I guess as a developer now, like a lot of our gameplay habits are definitely shaped by being a developer. So Like we'll buy a game, we'll play it for a few hours and try to absorb as much of it from like all the heavy nutrients out of the game, and then we kind of move on. You know, I can't really afford to sink a lot of time into any one thing at this point in my life. Um, I just have this beautiful vision that when I'm an old man and I'm somehow retired and not having to work, I can slowly start working on my Steam backlog. Uh, but I don't know if that will ever happen, to be perfectly honest with you. Just again trying to add some angles, just to add some visual variety, kind of abstractly hinting that this is a cave uh, area. Just trying to work within the constraints of our engine, because constraints are good. Sometimes when you can create like ultra high fidelity stuff, you kind of get like in a bad place where like you spend a lot of time on content that doesn't necessarily, I don't know, like the nice thing about the Delver engine is like we can crank out stuff relatively quick. I mean, it still takes me about an hour to make each of these rooms, but that's not so bad. So I think having constraints and a little bit lower fi technology allows you as a developer to move quicker. So let me see. They're talking about playing games. Easygo 2 says, sorry for my bad spelling, but what if you could use the money to put a random enchantment like on a weapon, etc., like a reroll system? We don't really have enchantments per se. Um, I guess items can be like Sword of Flame, and they have these kind of little modifiers on them, but I don't think it's a dynamic system. I think it's stuff that we've already kind of hand built that it can pull from. Chad can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of how things are working as they are right now. And yeah, and also don't worry about if English isn't your native language. I appreciate all the feedback that I get. It's not it's not a blocking issue for me. I will puzzle it out. Okay, play. It's visually interesting-ish. I mean, it is just a straight hall, but we have that dip there, so you can't see all the way through. And then we're gonna have these little rooms here. They're gonna be these kind of, let's see, just try to ballpark the angle. As long as they match on both sides, it'll be fine. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I think, yeah, I think actually a lot of these too, I had like the lower wall and upper wall. I think I was intentionally making these very gold because that's cool. There we are. So maybe implying something about the nature of these little crypt areas. Am I screwing up my ceiling? I think no, okay. But I want the ceiling and the floor to be like that. And then just kind of Nice. I'm just kind of quickly throwing just a little bit of texture variation on these. If you guys do, if some folks will notice that whenever I hit play, that sometimes the textures do change. And we do have a system for swapping textures around, which is pretty handy. Um, uh, so by deliberately changing it from, so it's this kind of gray brick that has that that texture swap defined for it. So if I change it away from that, it won't swap. So I have to be careful not to do all of it because I do want some variety. But I also want to make sure that these do have a fair amount of gold uh, present. So you know they do look a little special. And I apologize. My wife made a comment the other day. She overheard me streaming, and she remarked on how I say a lot, and I apologize because I know that does affect the watchability of the stream. So I will try to be better about my usage of And I guess it just helps that she pointed that out to me because I guess I didn't realize how much I say it because I'm pretty informal on my streams. I just work in my game and talk to chat and talk about video game development topics, but I will try to be better about that. Because I know for some folks, it drives them crazy. I'm just kind of styling these because I want these, you know, when you see these little design elements across all these different rooms, I want them to kind of feel like they were designed with a purpose, and there's kind of these motifs, and maybe it implies that these little small rooms all have a similar purpose. Because I'm trying to establish, I guess, what you call it, a design language for this particular area. Cool. Yeah. Again, this is just I've established this in other rooms, so I'm just kind of following suit with this with what I'm doing here. Okay. So Pyro-San says, given the potential for the end adventure button should just be part of the game. You know, we're trying to get all those issues ironed out. So as folks make them aware, or us aware of them, we are fixing them. I guess that leads me to an interesting point is because we are making a procedural game, it's almost impossible for us to test out all the possible combinations. Um, you know, I will play for maybe 15, 20 minutes after I make a change just to make sure that I think I haven't broken the world, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily guarantee things aren't, you know, they're 100%. I mean, I might have missed, I definitely miss things because, you know, you folks catch them because that's the power of the internet is there's so many folks kind of banging their heads against it. So please do report any collision issues you have. We fixed a number for this upcoming update. Oh, Chezzy is Chris from New Zealand. Hello, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, my son is sleeping, so I thought I'd take some time to work on Delver, make some temple areas. That's what I'm about these days. Getting the temple ready for the. Uh, I think we've been talking a little bit about it for the September update. Um, we want to release soon, this month. And I am pushing hard, and Chad is pushing hard to make sure that this happens. If we're so if it doesn't meet our quality bar, obviously we're not gonna release something, you know, that's half-assed. But you know, we do want to, you know, it's been, you know, a year basically since our last update, and we need to fix that. So we are working on addressing that. Yeah, I thought about having music, but I don't want to get so um so after I stream, I do upload these to YouTube, so folks in different time zones can watch them. That's how Chris typically watches them, I think, is because he is on the opposite side of the world from me. But I don't want to include music because there's a potential I forget what it's called, like a DMCA or there's like a IP issue where people will take out all the audio in the video, and I think a good portion of like archiving my stream's value, it comes from me talking and just kind of explaining my process. And this is kind of aimed at the folks who want to mod the game, and this is kind of a resource where I kind of give stream of consciousness as I'm working and talking about engine features, editor features. Uh, I think having with the potential risk of my audio being blocked out, it's kind of a no-go for me. Um, having said that, though, I do have a buddy who's a musician, and I would love to promote his work. But I mean, again, it's then we get to the whole taste. Some people are really turned off by like certain types of music, and some people aren't. So I think I'll just do my best to fill all the negative audio space with my talking. So that's cool. Got the braziers. Got these little tunes on the side. Okay. And let's just put some decor in these because that's kind of what they're for. So I will marker decor pile because I want these to kind of feel like they're just uh, that they are where the bones get tossed for one reason or another. Not quite sure. Probably as a burial thing. I don't want a torch. I will, but I want to just. Okay, what's up right here? This is not correct. Let me fix this. Okay, same here. I must have changed the height on this and not have noticed. Yeah, that looks to be the case. I don't know why. I'll just bump it back down. Wait, nope, nope. Ha, I just did that intentionally. Jeez, Joshua. Okay. Yeah, they all have the height difference because I just added it. Sorry, it's been a rough day. Like my kid is not sleeping, and therefore I'm not sleeping. Okay, just make sure there's so if you notice, I haven't been adding any enemies to the rooms just yet, and that's mostly because for my testing, it's easier if I can run through the entire level just to get a feel for the level without enemies in it. And then before we release, I'll go through and I'll try to add uh, enemies to all the rooms and try to get a nice, I guess, distribution of enemies, like per room. Um, when I redid the caves, I had a lot more free time, and I made an Excel spreadsheet tracking like the amount of like items distributed per room and enemies and like cool features. And unfortunately, I don't think I have the kind of time to do that now. I'm more focused on just getting the stuff done, so I have to just kind of do it by feel, which I just have to play a lot of the game, or at least a good chunk of the game to make sure that it feels the way I want it to feel. Okay, let me look at. Thin Ginger says, "Hello, Mr. Joshua." Hello, Thin Ginger. Thank you for stopping by and watching me work at my game. Okay, I think this is probably okay. This is in a decent enough state. Oh, okay. So I want to do. So what I've been doing also, I'm excited about this. I don't know. Maybe folks are, maybe folks aren't. But what I have been doing is so this is a hull piece, and a hull piece goes all the way across on the y-axis. So this axis here. So from side to side, the hulls must at the z equals 0 plane touch for the hulls to actually work within the generator. But what I have been doing is I've been intentionally, like over here, I'll do this. So I'm actually adding a potential place for this to connect up to other areas. And I've been doing this intentionally on a lot of the other rooms. So what's nice is sometimes we get these happy accidents. I think I just screwed up the, yeah. We get these happy accidents where some rooms that aren't necessarily supposed to connect together do. And that's kind of cool. And I've seen that happen a number of times now. So I'm just kind of intentionally doing this. So why is that doing that? Okay. Let me just real quick, let me just grab that texture so I'm not messing up the texture. And then let me see from here is the ceiling. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make it look like the ceiling is either caved in or it's broken a bit, and that you can potentially either drop down or climb up. I'm not quite sure. I'm okay with sometimes having like one-way connections, like you could drop down but you can't climb back up, because they're non-critical. So these are just kind of little things I'm throwing in to try to make things more interesting. Yeah, so it looks like Pyvar Sun is complaining about stream quality. I've heard some folks say it depends on the browser, but also if you're using the Flash plugin or not. Um, I'm not quite sure how to guide you there. I'm not a Twitch expert. I'm like a Twitch baby. I'm really not super savvy in this. I do my best, and you folks have been educating me, which is really, really appreciated. So what I want to do here is I want to lower the floor so these actually start to intersect, kind of like the opposite of the trick what I was doing on the other side there. Actually, instead of doing that, I'm just going to raise the ceiling. So maybe this back half of the ceiling here. So let me pick that and then say something like this here. Make the ceiling stone. Then just raise it way up. But I don't want to raise just that one edge. I want to raise the entire, all three faces. So let's pull it up. There we go. So right now this would be like a little happy accident connection that would take you into here, and you can drop down into this little tomb. And you know, I'm gonna break this up so it looks I don't know, like it kind of happen naturally, like something maybe a slight cave in. I'm not sure. Just trying to tell a little story with this. So the floor looks something like that. Oh, so Chris is asking Chad to um, ballpark how long it's taken to build the engine, because Chad has written this engine. Uh, it's in Java, built on the libgdx framework, and he's written like so much code. I can't even begin to fathom it. I've been on the project now. This October, I believe, will be 3 years. Um, and I know he had been working on it, you know, before he brought me on board. Um, yeah, a long time. Yeah. So there are definitely pluses and minuses to writing our own engine. I mean, the plus is a lot of times I can request a change, and pretty instantly Chad will know if it's even possible and how to do it, which is nice. But the problem is it's taken years and years of development. Um, like recently, I think the game Brigador. Um, like they had invested 5 years into building their engine, and it's just I don't know. Like I met Hugh I think last year, and he's a really nice fellow. I feel their pain for spending so much time on making an engine. Um, I guess the difference is they were making a game as a I mean games are products, but let's not beat around the bush on that, right? Like this is something you can pay money for, and you buy it at the store. So it is a product, um, and I don't know, like they were dependent on that income, and that just making an engine is harder to rationalize um, in that case. But again, you know, they started and Unity wasn't where it was. I mean, they have an interesting perspective on it, you know, and it's an amazing game and it's beautiful and it's fun, but it's been building your engine is tough. I'll just stop there. Because to be honest, you know, game development is hard anyways. So anything you can do to make your life easier is probably not a bad thing. Um, yep. Chad is also pointing out too, like if, for example, if we had gone with Unity, I mean, a good chunk of development would be, you know, building tools on top of Unity, yeah, which a lot of folks do. I mean, I do have a little side project I'm working on, basically it's a little tiny Unity tool that I'm teaching myself Unity editor basics, you know, just because I think it's something good for me to know, just you know, in case. Um, Because yeah, cause you're never going to find like a perfect out of the box solution that just like magically makes your game. You're still going to have to put a lot of time and effort into designing and developing tools that work specifically for your use cases. Is this good enough? I mean, it's okay. The floor is too flat. I need to fix the floor and make the floor look less regular. Okay. Also, I have this cool, grab that. I think I have a, yeah, I created this rubble texture for the floor, so I kind of, I could use that. It kind of works for both the dark and the light stone. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Actually, I mean, since the ceiling here is, I need to match the ceiling because I think the ceiling is still rock and need to kind of normalize that. And I have that, still have that arc, that peak, which shouldn't be there because I'm implying this is all broken away and gross. So I need to do that. Okay, so this also creates this thing where you can look up and be like, oh, cool, there's something up there, but how do I get there? Like, so you can teleport there, but also you can kind of get there from this happy accident from this neighboring tile. So I'm building that in to kind of create these more interesting exploration opportunities. Okay, so I think the tile is in a good spot. So let's go ahead and I'm going to save it so I don't lose my work because, you know, losing all my work is only fun once a stream. So I'm doing it in File, Save. Okay, let's close out the editor. I forgot which one was that. So it looks like that was the hull number 3. So I need to update the generator zip file. So assets, generator.zip, generator, undead, hulls, has hulls 1 and 2 here, so undead, hulls 3, copy that into the zip file. Cool. And I'm going to play a little Delver, and I'm going to preview the new temple area. And there's been some interesting stuff we've been working on, and I'll talk about that. Okay. And it looks like they're talking about game dev stuff in chat about licensing and open source, which is cool. My stream is a good place to talk about game development and art and content creation and all these things. So I'm going to quickly jump down to the ruins area. And I'm happy to say that Chad has greatly sped up the lighting in the ruins area, because before the lava, the ruins area has a whole ton of lava. That was the lighting calculations was killing the load times, and we've taken it. It is pretty much on parity with all the other levels, so it loads just as quick. I think it still looks nice. Um, there we are. So I'm just going to run through. So this is a start room. And there's 6 of these, and I'm trying to make them match the same style, look cool. Oh yeah, here's something new. I redid the spike mesh, and I've also themed it appropriately for the temple. So that's a nice that's a cool thing that I've been working on. And these are the floor traps. I have a whole bunch up here. Ooh, that's kind of mean. So I have a whole bunch here, so you get run across here and watch, the floors fall away from underneath you. There's a sound that goes with that, and there's a screen shake cue. Right now, so I'm trying to think about, like, right now they're always in the same spot. So what I could do is I could just save a duplicate of the room and reposition the floors, which would work. I'm just not sure how interesting that would be, and also basically it would mean that particular room is more likely to be chosen simply because there are more copies of it in the generator. Okay. This is another cool thing too. Is so I've been working on this system that it allows me to, for a 4x4 area, I can define something to put into it. So what it does is it says I have a 4x4 room, and then it says what goes in a 4x4 room. And right now it says, well, traps can go in there. But I also want to say, well, maybe decorations or shrines can go there. But right now it says a trap can go there. It says, okay, what traps do I have? And it says you have these crusher traps with 2 different patterns, and it picks from there. But I'm going to build this out. So basically, I'm going to leave these kind of open 4x4 areas, and they will kind of procedurally populate with either traps or decoration or other interesting things. It's a pretty cool way of doing it. We haven't done this before in Delver, but it just happens to be something that the engine supports. So I'm going to make use of that. Yeah, then yeah, this is a different crusher pattern. Um, I think so right now what they do is they trigger each other, but I'm going to switch that around so that they are driven by a hidden mover, because I've noticed if you're clever, what you can do, let me line up my shot better, is you can actually gum up the whole system by throwing something in the correct spot. And then now, I guess I'll totally hose myself because like they're not gonna reset. So can I get the red? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So then yeah. So what I'm gonna do is for other traps, I've made this system of movers that are way out of bounds, and they do their sequence and they fire these alongside that, so you can't actually stop uh, the movers. It could be cool for a specific type of trap maybe, but I would want to call out which one you have to block to stop the behaviors. Right now it's kind of random, so I don't necessarily want that behavior. Okay. Well, okay, so that's an end. Let me see. We haven't even seen our new area yet. So our new area is a hall, and we haven't encountered any halls yet. So that's the problem, is I'm gonna have to play for a little bit before I can even find my area that I just made. Yeah, see these areas here are spots I've intentionally left open. I've intentionally left open so they can create little happy accidents of connecting rooms. Let me try again. Let me see if I can find the level or the room we just made to see how it looks and if there's any tweaks I need to make. So we're just jumping down levels to the ruins, and then we'll get going. Cool. Yeah, so these are the little rooms I was looking to emulate. So let's see if we can find them. So another thing too I've been noticing is, um, yikes, crusher and spikes. That's kind of nasty. So our generator, just by the nature of how it works, what tends to favor certain rooms over others. For example, like just empirically, I've noticed that it tends to favor corners and tri-intersections. Seem to be kind of the rooms that come up the most. So I think I'm going to kind of just do a few samples and see like what percentages roughly those things fall out in, and kind of focus my efforts there, just so I can kind of distribute how much effort I'm putting into things. Because if I make like for example, four-way intersections are kind of rare. And if I make a lot of those, I mean, it's cool that you see new ones every now and then, but if you constantly see like the same corner over and over again, it gets boring. So I want to make sure to put the effort in a good spot. So I'm running around trying to see if I can find my. This is not it. Trying to find my. Don't risk it. Kind of cut through that way. Sometimes I'm putting little ways to cut around these too, so you don't have to run through. Let's check my map. I think I can go left up here. Nope, nope, and that's a trap. Okay. I'll just go ahead and jump down. Look at the next level. Okay, yep, got these big. So I've been putting these big stone heads only in the start areas because the start areas are unique per each level. So I don't want them sprinkled out everywhere. Yes, nice. So this is the new area I just made, where it has these little rooms. They actually might be too tall. I might want to lower the ceiling in them a bit. Yeah, they're feeling pretty tall compared to the other ones. Whoa, I almost got spiked. Yeah, this one feels right. Actually, that one actually might connect. Does it? No, that's the edge of the map. Okay, never mind. But yeah, it's cool. It adds a nice little bit of again, I try to build these rooms so it makes the world feel bigger than it really is. It's just a little level design trick. Also, I should probably put loot in these things to kind of reward you for actually taking the time to poke around in them. But yeah, so I just need to lower the ceiling a bit and then add some loot and probably want monsters here. But I think it breaks up viz and it looks all right, like this kind of down little area, and then yeah, I think it's all right. You can't really see too far into the other rooms. I think it breaks up the visibility good. That just with first person shooters, it's a just a little thing I try to keep in mind is to make sure that you don't have these long unbroken lines of sight, because the enemies will snipe you, and it's no fun just to have a fireball come flying out of like all the way across the world and hit you. So I'm very cognizant of that. Okay, so I think I've seen what I want to see. So let's go ahead and quit and make the changes and get those checked in. So it was Hall 3, and then just kind of in general, I felt these rooms are just a little too tall. So I'm gonna just pull the ceiling down a little bit. So that one's 4 blocks tall. That feels okay. Were there taller ones? Were these 5 over here? Yeah, these are 5 on this side. So there we go. Pull it down to 4. 4. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. I can go maybe a little less too, and that would also be all right. I want these to kind of feel at least like these little claustrophobic areas where there's crap back here. Sometimes it's good crap, sometimes it's just crap. Pull it down. There we go. Okay, I didn't put any decor in here, so let's do loot and a decor pile and some decor. Then maybe another piece of loot back in here. And then I'll also go through it. I'll make sure to put plenty of monsters in here because I think because I'm trying to have variety too, where some of these rooms feel more trappy and puzzly, and some of these rooms feel more monstery. So this might be the one that's a little more heavy on the monsters. Okay, let's save this, and then let's update our generator.zip file. Here's halls. Generator zip, generator, undead, halls. I just need to update hall number 3. Let's replace it. And real quick, let's go to get. I don't want this. Don't want that. I just want halls 3 and the generator and new temple halls 3. Commit. Spikes is something interesting. I'll show you what that is. Again, these kind of go back to the trap rooms. It's just a little prototype room that I've been working on. Okay. These live in the levels test folder, which we do. I do believe we ship these test levels with the game, so you can see what we're working on. This one's not committed, just been something I've been playing around with. But this kind of uses my system I was talking about, where I have these 4 movers, and they actually drive the movement of all the spikes below. So what I have here is I have these kind of waves of spikes, and I have them going in opposite directions because if they only go in one direction, you can't actually make it through without being hit. So right here, if I time it right, I can actually run all the way across and back without being hit. So that's kind of what I want. And these are going to be used in these 4x4 areas I was talking about. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's look at generator. Nope, not splash screen. Undead halls. Yeah, I think this one. Nope. Intersections, I think is what I meant instead of halls. Intersections to. Nope. Sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head which one I want to show you. I think 3 would be fine because it has 2 of them. So in this one, I've included there are these traps here, but what it is when you start it up, it picks which one to put in there. So right now it's this one has this pattern, and if I keep reloading it, it'll pick up. Right now there's only 2 defined, so I want to make some more varieties. So I think that I kind of want to go off of what that trap thing was doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a trap prefab, and then I'll add it to this list of possibilities. Yeah, so Chris is commenting on the new spikes and how they look a little bit clean. Yeah, I also want to, so I do want to have spikes kind of be themed per each level, so I might have some that feel less clean, or like in the sewers, they might be rusty and kind of gross. Yeah, but yeah, no, they are definitely very clean. They're basically like swords right now. But I was talking to Chad about this earlier, and I didn't like the old spikes. They were kind of just like the UVs didn't look great, and they just were kind of gross. And right now, I'd rather err on the side of it looking like a little bit more graphic and a little more cartoony, rather than realistic, just to kind of communicate that these things are they're nasty and they're kind of a they're a big thing to worry about. Gigi Pusisi loves the art in Delver. Feels dreamy when I play. Well, that's very kind of you to say. Um, the dude from CI. Dude, this game looks really cool. What is it? Just join chat. Okay, so just to recap, this is the video game Delver. Um, it is a procedural first-person dungeon crawler. I'm Joshua. I am, I guess, the lead art slash content guy working on this. Uh, the lead developer Chad is also in chat. Um, he's also fielding questions, but right now I am working on a new area that has not been released yet. It will be out this month. So we are on early access on Steam, so you can support us there by buying the game. Or if you're not into early access, I totally understand your concerns there, and you can wait for it to come out. Because this has been a longer development process, and but we are committed to getting it done, and that's kind of what these streams are about. This stream in particular is a bonus stream. I do a regular stream every Sunday at noon Pacific. Um, this just happens to be I had a bit of free time, so I am streaming. So I need to make a trap prefab that is 4x4. So let's just create a new blank slate, and um, basically I want to use basically add prefab, and this temple set it's called a temple room set 4x4, which has a trap set, which has a crusher trap set. So basically I want to um, it would live next to the crusher trap set, where it would be a spike trap set 4x4, and there'd be a couple to choose from there. So let's go ahead and just start throwing down spikes and try to make a cool pattern that I think would be interesting, um, like visually interesting and also gameplay wise, very interesting. Pyro Sunset is really cool. It's an early access roguelike from Delver. Um, Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Rick Rocker says, Josh, glad to finally catch your stream. I see you laid out a roadmap, but is there a window for a possible? So again, I don't want to tell you stuff and then because right, things slip. We work on this. There are two of us who are making this game, and we work on this in our free time. And for the past year, I have basically taken development off to support my wife uh, through the pregnancy and birth of our son. And I just couldn't balance my day job. I had one back then, and supporting her and Delver. And unfortunately, Delver had to be put on pause for a while, and I was not great about communicating that with the community, and I apologize. But um, my priority was my family and my day job. Um, uh, but yeah, hopefully in the near future. So the next update will be this month. We're planning the next update beyond that. So hopefully we're trying to get this done. Um, definitely next year. Next year is the year of Delver. I don't want to. Hopefully, I'm not making myself a liar, but next year, 2017, is when Delver finally comes out, and things will be gravy then, or at least we'll get into support mode and fix issues for a while, and then we can finally actually have a done game. But I was talking about spike traps. So traps, temple proximity spikes. Sweet. Yeah, so that's this guy. Okay, so let me actually just add some lights too, so I can see what I'm doing when I play. Lights. And I can crank up the range, even though sometimes it doesn't always look nice, but I can. I just need to be able to see. It doesn't have to, I mean, I do like things to look beautiful all the time, but there we go. Let me push you farther out that way. There we go. Cool. It's a little blown out or whatever. So what I want is I want this 4x4 grid of spikes that have an interesting pattern. So I'm going to just make a 4x4 grid real quick. In the Delbert editor, you can hold, so what I'm doing is I'm selecting something, I'm hitting shift, and what that does is that locks uh, the movement to the XY plane so it stays flat on the floor. I'm holding control to snap it to the grid, and I'm also hitting alt to create a copy. So this is how I can really quickly just create a bunch of these. And you can also just make shift selections as well and do the same thing. So I can just drag out this. So right now, these are proximity spikes, which means they only come up if I'm close, which is cool. But I want these to actually run in a predefined pattern. And there are a number of ways you can do this. I believe spikes themselves have, so if I ungroup it, I can select the spike itself, and they have the start delay, start offset, and reverse delay. And these are how you can play with the timing there. And you could set it to be looping. So this way, if I set it to looping, it would always go up and down. So using the start offset is how you can make patterns. So I'm going to try to think of an interesting pattern to make that is traversable all four directions. I think an easy one that comes to mind is like, actually, let me just ungroup all these. I should have done that before I copied them. Would have been smart. Okay. Ungroup. Okay, so they should all be ungrouped now. Let me see. We'll take a look at chat. Da, 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 da. Yeah, people are leaving. Sorry if I missed you leaving. Yeah, so I did have a son. Thank you for congratulating me. It's been interesting. I am a full-time dad now, so I have the fortune of watching him grow, which is an awesome opportunity. Um, uh, Talking about programming stuff. Um, I would like another child eventually, but I don't think it's going to be soon enough to disrupt the release of Delver, so don't worry about that. Blah, 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 blah. Just scanning through chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Um, da, 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 Talking about garbage collection hell. Um, yeah, that's something with managed languages like C# and Java you're going to run into, and just something you have to learn how to deal with. Cool. So traps. It might be cool to have it do this like diagonal thingy, kind of like how I have those crusher traps going. So what I want to do is set it to, actually, crap. Let me just kind of undo all this stuff. Chad says undo works, so let me undo. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I want is to ungroup this one, and I want to make this loop. Okay, and now I can, let's just make one row, right? That's the way to start this, I think, without driving you guys crazy. So let's select both the base and the spikes, because the base is just purely decorative. It's just a mesh object, and then the spikes are the actual thing doing all the work. So if I hit play, they fire at the same time. That's not what I want. So if I add a start offset of 0, what does that do? Okay, what if I add a start offset on this guy of 20? How far apart is that? That one's firing before the other one? That's interesting. Uh, Weird. Let's clear these out because I'm not quite sure what these timings are doing. Yikes, that's not what I want either. So 80 is good. I want some pause in between these. Hmm. Actually, I think I'll just do it the other way. I think I'll have these driven by triggers, and I'm not going to worry about trying to do the timing that way. I'll just do the timing on the one trigger, call it good, or on the mover. Excuse me. So I'm going to add an entity, a mover, a basic mover. And I'm going to position this just uh, directly above the trap. I'm going to give this trap or the spike trap a name. I'm going to say this ID is spike underscore 0. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, the spikes also need to be on trigger. And this mover needs to loop. It needs to start immediately. And then when done, it needs to trigger spike underscore 0. And if I did that right, you should see what happens. Cool. So now what I can do is I can start creating a series of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag out another one of these. Why is this? Looks so it's popped up on the z-axis for some odd reason. Okay, so I'm going to rename this one from. So if I leave it, if I play now, this one mover is going to drive both of them. That's not what I want. I want this to be called spike underscore 1, and I need to duplicate the mover. Actually, I need to have the mover stop and not actually loop. Then I need to drag this out on the X directly above. And this one is going to be called, needs to be named spike 0. And it needs to trigger spike underscore 1. So let's take a look at what this does. And it needs to on trigger. So what happens is the first one should go, and then it triggers the second one. So this needs to stop and not loop to get the correct behavior. Actually, I think it needs to returns. That might be what I'm looking for. Sorry, using movers to do this kind of behavior is not quite what it's intended for. Let me just build a series of these, and then I'll see if I can make them all work. Yeah. So let me see. So Rick Rocker is asking for spikes. Would the diamond layout be ideal? Make the patterns shift like that. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a pattern that just goes in sequence. And then what I can do is I can shift those around to make different patterns. You'll see in a little bit what I mean. Tony's asking, can I flip the spikes up and down and have them come out of the ceiling? Yeah. So actually, we have a prefab already built a trap that is coming out of the wall. So yeah, we could we already have the generator slamming these on the walls, and you get these kind of proximity spikes shooting out when you get close to them, which is cool. So you could put them on the ceiling. The problem is that there's no guarantee the player is going to be close to the ceiling. Generally the ceilings are 1.5 to 2 units tall, so they might not pose a threat. It would look cool, certainly, but it would just be more aesthetic than actual danger. I'm just going to make 2 copies because I know I'm going to need At least 4 of these. So let's get these all named and we'll see how they get hooked up. So spike underscore 1, spike underscore 2, spike underscore 3. Actually, another thing we can do just to make this more clear is I'm going to rename these so they make more sense. So this is mover underscore 0. This is mover underscore 1. This is mover underscore 2. And this is mover underscore 3. And so this one should trigger spike 0. This one should trigger spike 1. This one should trigger spike 2. This one should trigger spike 3. And another thing I'm pretty sure you can do is this needs to trigger spike 0, but also a mover 1. And let me make sure that works. Yeah. So that did what I wanted. So you can have these comma separated triggers, which is really cool. So this is gonna trigger spike 2 and mover 3. And this is going to trigger spike 3 and mover 0. So what did I screw up? So that's mover 2. Oh, this does not. This needs to trigger mover 2, mover 1, mover 2, mover 3, mover 0. Okay, so that's that is creating the pattern that I want, but it's a little slow. So what I can do is say let's drop the move time to half that, 0.5. Because okay, so something's going on here. Let me also let's get rid of all these delays because I want them to fire instantly. Basically, because I don't care that the spikes don't need to worry about timing themselves. I want the movers to handle handle all this. Okay, so I do need some sort of delay, maybe on this reverse delay. I think it was 20. I want them to stay up for just a moment and not to instantly pop back down. I think that's what that controls. Yeah. So is this actually? Yeah, this is workable. So now what I can do is I can just copy around the spikes with the correct IDs um, to make these patterns because we already have this little sequential thing going, so I can just kind of use that. Rick Rocker says this game lets you make your own maps. Um, yeah, so the thing about Delver is we actually ship all the tools we use to make the game with the game. So this Delver editor is right alongside the binary. You can get that when you buy the game. And the best, and there are some tutorials out there on how to use it. You can also watch my streams. That's another resource on how to learn how to use the editor. Rick Rocker is asking the biggest challenge in finishing the game at the moment. Yeah, Chad's saying maybe ambition, because you always have this instinct to add more. Also, like right now, life is adding lots of interesting, like Chad has a day job, and it's not working on Delver. It's something entirely different. So it's time management. It's trying to make a game that we're proud of, and just the more we add on, the longer that will take. Okay. Just trying to make sure I've got these correct. Okay. I think I actually will probably need more than 4. I think I'll need 5 maybe? Uh, Depending upon how I want to hook these up. Can I actually? And also, let me see. So I do need more, it looks like. Because it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yikes. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, so this needs to be called spike 4. And this over here needs to be spike. Wait, let me make sure I have the right thing selected. So spike 5. And this needs to be spike 6. And then this needs to be a copy of spike 6 here. Cool. And then I need that's mover 0. This is mover 3, so I need to make 3 more. I need to make 3 more of these. This is mover 4, mover 5, mover 6. This needs to trigger the same spike as itself, and then the mover in the next mover in the sequence. So this needs to trigger spike 5 and mover 6. This needs to trigger spike 6 and mover 0, because that way it repeats. So let's see what it looks like. So I screwed something up. This is spike 4. That is spike 3. So that's spike 3, spike 4. It's mover 4, mover 3. This needs to be mover 4 to continue the chain. There we go. Yeah. And is this, I just need to do a quick test to make sure this is traversable by all. So if I wait for it to go past there, can I get past it? Oh, man, this might not be. Like, it's one of these things where it's really easy, like this direction, but going this, like, I don't know, going against the grain is going to be like impossible, I think. Yeah. So somebody suggested a diamond pattern. Um, Let me try that. So Pizza King 29 says, "Hey, the whole double team in here." Yep. The two of us, the two primary team members, we're definitely here. I'm working and Chad is chatting. So that's not a workable pattern. So I'm trying to think of a pattern that's good for four directions that, because right now, like going against the flow is like impossible. Can I sneak in between? Nope. Like if you can't sneak in between, you get hit. Okay. Yeah, and I get torn apart. Um, hmm. Hmm. Have it alternate with different patterns. I can have it do different patterns, but I have to keep creating movers to drive how that works. So a, so a diamond pattern. I'm just trying to figure out how you can traverse that without getting stuck. Um, yeah. I know Chad's going through a rough time. It's not my place to talk about it, but I do my best to try to not be overbearing and just kind of let him work whenever he has time. 'Cause yeah, man, life just comes at you, and yeah, like Delver is definitely a passion project, and we kind of make time for it because we love it. But life does things to make that sort of thing hard. Actually, I think I'm trying to think. So he's trying to form a path, but the problem with is making sure that the path itself is good for any direction. So let me just do something. How to make this work? Because I don't want to throw it away because I put some time into it, but like a simple just like it's like a circular pattern would be predictable enough and should be traversable. Um, like Rick Rocker, you keep saying the diamond pattern, and in my brain I can kind of see it, but um, I can't really. Chris is asking, will the AI path through these? Um, so if you mean will the AI blunder into these? Yes. It's not smart enough to navigate. They will just walk right into it and get torn to pieces. Yeah, so the falling bricks, they don't go over those because it's a moving platform, which is a little bit different than a trap. So I think they avoid those. Yeah, I mean, it's good to be able to use traps, to your own for your own amusement, I guess. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick, if this is driving you crazy. So you're saying start here in the corner, and then progress out, and then out, and then out. I think it still has the. So if I go all the way across, that's exactly the same problem I have. Um, Otherwise, it's gonna go here and here, and then it's gonna stop. Sorry, Rick. I mean, like Chad is not a great. I would need to like whiteboard it because right now I'm just not grokking it. Um, so let's do. I think I understand what you're trying to say. So if I had just these four, and so this triggers spike 0, and spike 0 is, I think this is the original row right here. It's spike 6, spike 0. So this is the original row. So let me just. So if I hit play, this should do the pattern where it just goes across. And I think Rick's trying to suggest that I do something like this. If I understand what he's saying correctly, and he's probably yelling at me in chat right now because I'm probably messing it up, but okay, so what this is going to do, so I mean, I could definitely get across this direction, but coming back this, oh, I need to also make this loop, so this needs to fire against mover 0. Yeah, coming back this direction is like impossible. And for some odd reason, these are all screwed up on the Z. Yeah, that's still not going to quite work. Like half of that would work. Um, hmm. Hmm. Could, let me see. Sorry, I mean this is. I'm not sure how interesting this is to watch. I'm trying to figure out good patterns that are traversable in all four directions. So, pop, 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 pop. So maybe I'm getting it. Maybe. I'm just gonna let me see. So that should go there. This one should go, I think, like this. And then this one should go like this. And this last one should come over here. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not super confident on that. Let's snap that down correctly. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Can I get through this? Nope. Kinda. Took a hit. So I want to run forward when this goes, then I pause, and then go. Oh man. Um, I could add more delay. That might be interesting. So I need to add a delay here. So I'm just going to change the move time to 2. And then this one, the move time to 2. And see what that looks like. Nope, sorry, I messed up. So 0.5. This one needs to be 2. This one needs to be 0.5. And then the first one needs to be 2. So boom, boom, wait, boom, boom. Oh, what's it doing? Screwed it up. So move time 2, move time 0.5, 0.5, 2. Does it need to stop? Is that the issue? If they're not all in the same timing? Yeah, so something like that maybe. So these are gonna fire. Then I have some free time to get there. There we go. Yeah, I think this is a workable pattern. And it's not super intense. Hopefully people can understand what's going on there. Ship it. Okay, so let me think. So I need to select all these movers, and I'm gonna just shove them way up high. Like you should never be able to see these in game. And then I need to select everything. Okay, and he just needs to select these. Well, let me position these over first, real quick on the Y, I think. So I want these to kind of. So when making prefabs, it's important to position them on at the 0, 0 of the world because they do have some knowledge of their position. It helps just make sure that they kind of line up nicely um, when you actually place them in game. Then I'll select all this. I'm going to right click, group it together, and then man, where's it want me to select this thing? So there we go. So I can right click and say to JSON, and this will give me the JSON to create all this beast. So then I copied that, and then I can go into here, and I have set. So I have temple set. There we go. So I have so I have crusher traps, and now I want to add spike traps 4x4. So yeah, this is a. Let me see. Yeah, these JSON files can be a little tricky to work with when they get large. Let me find out. So crusher trap set piece 1. This is the one I want to follow. So we find the closing brace on that. Okay, so I need to put a comma, and this is going to be spike set piece 0, and then I'm going to paste in the JSON. And then I need to really run this through a JS linter so I can actually get nice clean JSON. Then try to get this pretty formatted so it's semi-readable. And then this last position is something that we probably want to keep an eye on because we might need to tweak it when we actually drop it in the editor. So, okay, so that looks good. I have the comma there, so that shouldn't break everything. Let me save that, and let's launch another instance of delvedit and see what happens. So if I right click and nothing happens, I've broken the world. So I haven't. Place entity, temple sets, spike set piece 0, and it's way over there. So like I mentioned, sometimes you have to play with the last position property. So let's real quick, let's just go down and find that. So I'm just going to zero these out, and then I think I usually need to tweak these manually. My guess is minus 1.5, minus 1.5, but we'll see. Okay, let's launch another instance. Yeah, text folding would make it easy to navigate, but I don't think IntelliJ supports that. At least I haven't used IntelliJ for very long, so I haven't figured out how to turn it on. And I don't want to have multiple editors. I just want to have one where I can just launch the project from. Temple sets, spike set. So it is, yeah, so I think I need to do minus 1.5, minus 1.5. I think it's what the other one has too. It's just, this is just intuitively, I've done this before, so I think that should be right. Okay, so entity, let me give us some more room. Place entity, temple set, spike set piece 0. Yep, that dropped it right where we wanted, but oh no. Some of these are in the wrong position. Oh Lord. Man, that sucks. How to troubleshoot. How to troubleshoot. So let me ungroup and let's just select these. And I did not see that. Do that. Okay. Let's get these back in the right spot. Okay. So a quick bump that way. And sorry, chat, if you guys caught this and were screaming at me to fix it before I actually did all this work, but it shouldn't be hard to just regroup everything and create a new prefab. Okay, got all of my traps, and then I got my movers. So group them, then find the sweet spot to JSON. Copy, close this, and then I just repaste over this giant chunk of prefab. Let's clean up our code a little bit. But I guess JSON is kind of code, kind of not code. I don't know. And then let's verify that my last position is correct. It doesn't have a last position. That's interesting. Let's see how that behaves. Let me see. So I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with chat. You guys, I'm really kind of zoning in on this, which I guess is kind of the whole point of this. But crap, yeah. But yeah, no, I think Rick Rocker saying it's nice to see the dev actively working, consider ideas. Yeah, no, I'm happy to share with you guys what I do, and yeah, I mean suggestions are awesome. And I think JSON is It stands for JavaScript Object Notation, which is an object literal, which I guess is part of a programming language. So I need this last position attribute. Let me just copy this one and just paste it on the end of this guy. I think that should be okay. I think that's on the right thing. We'll find out. If not, we will troubleshoot it. Actually, let me just double check last position. Yeah, it follows the square brace. So right now our traps only spawn on the floor, so making them spawn on the ceiling would be very hard. You'd have to probably just do it. I broke it. Crap. Oh, why are you so hard? So how I screwed up here. Sorry, I'm trying to troubleshoot this. Let me just grab. See, this guy's fine. I don't understand why it was all jacked up. So let me just re-export this guy then. This should be a single. Oh wait, nope. There it is. There it is. There's the culprit. Group. Yeah, this last position is a property on groups, and it helps with their positioning, even though it's kind of awkwardly named. So you can't just outright delete it. You have to kind of work with it to get your prefabs to appear where you want them to. Okay, so that's positioned correctly to JSON. Third time's the charm, maybe? Getting this thing hooked up and working. So let me just make sure I'm deleting all of this. Okay, paste. Okay, and then again, from experience, I'm pretty sure that this minus 1.5 minus 1.5 is correct. Save that, launch a new instance of the editor. And let's drop it right here at 0, 0 and see what happens. So it's a temple set, spike set piece 0. Okay, so it's not in the right spot, but I can fix that. Okay, flip the wrong one. Okay. Perfect. So that's exactly where I want it to be. So now I'm going to kind of hook this into how all this craziness is going to work. So If I remember right, I think I named it incorrectly. I could fix the name real quick. So, I want to make it consistent across all my assets. So it's a temple set. So I have a crusher trap set 4x4, and then these are set pieces within that set. So I need to make a spike trap set piece 0, and then a crusher, and then a spike trap set 4x4. Okay. So spike. So this should be a spike trap set piece, and then I need a find the 4x4 stuff. So I have this crusher trap set, and I also want a I'm creating a spike trap set, which consists of only one spike at the moment, which is spike trap set 0. And then this trap set can choose from it's either going to be a crusher trap set or it's going to be a spike trap set. So if this is correct, then all the prefabs from the other room should pick this change up. Sometimes, sorry if I'm being crazy right now. Like I feel like I'm a madman and like um, describing things that nobody else can see. So if I did it correct, sometimes this should be a crusher, and sometimes this should be a spike trap, and it should be roughly 50-50. So that's nothing. Did I screw up my spelling? Surely that's what happens. Spike trap set 4x4, spike trap set piece 0. Sorry if I'm missing out on chat, but thank you guys for talking. And it looks like blah, 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 blah. Um, so Rick Rocker says that the dev gods have taken me, let them make my vessel and deliver us a great game. I think he's referring to like my temporary madness. Unfortunately, I'm not able to beautifully articulate. Yes. So now what's cool is so half the time this room will be a crusher trap, and half the time it will be a spike trap. Except for it's not firing correct. Oh no. Okay, so let's go file new. Let's just test this. So what's wrong? If I add an entity that is the simple set, spike set, let's just create a room and then let's see what's going on here. So looks like the second one's not firing. So this is group. This is mover 3, mover 2, mover 1, mover 0. Let me move them down on the z-axis so we can actually see what they're doing. Huh. Oh no, it might be one of those things where I thought chat had fixed this, but sometimes objects when they're grouped don't behave like they ought. And if this is the case, I'm going to be sad. Actually, let me just. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like because they're in a group, they're not firing correctly. Okay, I will troubleshoot this and fix it off stream because I think we're at a point now where I've been streaming for a little over 2 hours, and I try to keep these capped to 2 hours because uh, I don't want to bore you to death, and I want to not wear myself out because talking and developing is tough. But I will fix these off stream, and I will have um, some interesting varieties of traps that will be spawning there. Um, so thank you guys for stopping by tonight and watching me work. I appreciate it. I appreciate the motivation. Um, it's also really awesome you guys are asking cool dev questions and answering your own questions amongst each other, which is really cool. Um, my next scheduled stream is this coming Sunday at noon Pacific. So if you want to watch me continue to work on Delver, that would be rad. If not, no worries. So I guess thank you guys for supporting me, and I will see you later.